Okay, that's it. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great. Now it's raining,
Oh,
and
no.
if you can if you hear the rain, it's gonna be raining.
Yeah, it's been
So,
snowing in London as well. It's horrible.
oh really? Yeah, but also it's here. It was really cold. Now it's cold. It was cold. Now it's okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna start on creation, and then we can just um, wait a couple of more minutes that therapy people join, and then we can start.
Cool, sounds good.
Yeah, so now it's my creation. Dobro večer svima i dobrodošli na razgovore bez okrutnosti. Prije nego što krenemo i prije razgovora htjela bih samo istaknuti da nijedan sadržaj koji će biti trenutno podijeljen i nije namijenjen poticaju ikoga na kršenje zakona svoje države, također niti kao profesionalni pravni savjet. Ovaj live je isključivo edukacijske informativne svrhe i iskustva i stavovi naše gošće koje će danas iznositi ih održavaju njezine osobne akcije i uvjerenja. Također ne predstavljaju nikakve upute niti pravne smjernice za djelovanje, tako da budite odgovorni građani i poštujte zakone svoje države. I hvala vam. Sada će razgovor teći na engleskom jeziku i na kraju možete slobodno postavljati pitanja na engleskom. I mislim da će biti ovo jedan zanimljiv stvarno razgovor koji ćemo imati danas. Okay, that's my creation part of hello. So I think we can wait some couple of more minutes to people then join, and then in 2 minutes we can start maybe.
Cool, sounds good. Hi, Matthew. I can see someone called Matthew in the chat. Yeah, I'll try and share it on my. Is this automatically sharing on my feed? I'm not sure if it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay,
automatically.
nice.
So we will have a question on the end, but Maya, we will go for your question in later. So we will start now. Um, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of Cruelty Free Talks. Today we're gonna be exploring the connection between science, ethics, and animal protection, and I'm truly honored to welcome our guest, Rose. So her work in activism, transparency, and ethical reform has sparked important conversation about how can we build more compassionate future and more honest and humane science. So Rose is the co-director of Animal Rising, and as advocate since 2012, she handles a master degree in the animal welfare science, ethics, and law, since Rose play a really central role in shaping and developing some of the UK's most high-profile animal campaigns. And thank you, Rose, for being here, and thank you for this talk we're gonna have. And before we start, we need to inform you for disclaimer that none of this content shared is intended to encourage anyone to break domestic laws in any country or to serve as professional legal advice. This discussion live is solely for educational and informative purposes, and the action are not instruction or guidance for any legal action, and we want to know that you need to be a responsible citizen and respect the law of your country. And thank you. So before we get into the deeper topics we're gonna talk uh, about Animal Rising, I'd like to start with something simple, just so everyone that is watching now can understand the bigger picture behind your work. So can we start to talk a little bit about Animal Rising, and can you explain the mission of Animal Rising in just simple terms?
Mhm. Yeah, so Animal Rising is a UK-based organization, and guess like our overall mission is to end ideally all animal exploitation. At the moment, our focus is ending factory farming. So yeah, that's mostly animals that are farmed for food. So we want to see an end to factory farming in the UK, and a transition to a plant-based food system for the animals, for the planet, for everyone. And we also have this other project that we're doing at the moment, which we'll be talking about more today, and that's is all linked to the same end goal. And our project is focused on ending animal testing, specifically shutting down MBR Acres, which is a beagle breeding facility for animal testing.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and that really helps to set the stage. And speaking of that, how did Animal Rising start in focus of end animal testing in the UK?
Yeah, so like I said, most of our focus has been on like animal agriculture and factory farming. But in 20, the kind of opportunity came about where we were like, there's this facility called MBR Acres, which is in the UK. It's very well known in the animal rights movement for being a place of immense cruelty to dogs. And of course, those dogs are getting tested on once they leave MBR Acres. And I think the highlight, the facility had been highlighted particularly that year because Camp Beagle, who have been camping outside of MBR Acres since 2021, I believe, they'd really attention to it. So they've literally been camping outside this facility for years now, trying to get it shut down. And so, yeah, one of the reasons was because so much attention was being drawn onto MBR Acres. We felt like it was just this kind of symbol for the whole animal rights movement in the UK. So it had been a long time since anyone had tried to rescue beagles from MBR Acres. I believe the last time was in the 90s. And so we're like, it was a really, really difficult thing to do. People told us that it wouldn't be possible. And but we felt like we like to do ambitious things. We like to do things that people feel are maybe impossible. And so we decided that we would shift our focus to putting all of our energy into rescuing beagles from this facility. And I think also knowing that the public would be more supportive of our work when rescuing dogs and focusing on dogs, and hoping to bring that support for the beagles over to animal farming, and yeah, the end of factory farming. And so that's our plan over the next year or so, to bring all that support for puppies and then to pigs and other farm animals.
That's great. Yeah, so that's a really good plan to have in the future, and I hope it will pass. Thank you for sharing that. It's powerful to hear this, and I really want people to get to know more about you a little bit better. So the person behind all this courage and actions. So Rose, can you share what personally inspired you to become involved in direct action? Well, like what moment or situation changed your thoughts about helping animals and saving them?
Yeah, I think there was like a few things over my life which led me to taking direct action. So I think one of the first like earliest memories, and which is linked to the beagle rescue, is when I was a child. There was an animal testing lab in my hometown, and beagles are still sent there today to be tested on. And when I was, I think, around 10 years old or something, I found out about this animal testing lab in my hometown, and activists had stuck stickers around the town of animals, like horrible images of animals being tested on. And I remember like seeing this, and I couldn't believe, because I always had cats at home, and I couldn't believe that cats and dogs and monkeys were being tested on. And so that was like, animal testing was the first thing that was kind of in my mind about, or like the first thing that I was aware of linked to animal rights. And so I went vegetarian, and then eventually vegan in 2012, when I saw Earthlings, a documentary which I really recommend, but it's just also heartbreaking. And then I think the next big thing that happened for me was in 2019. I was living in London. I still am living in London, but in 2019 in London, Extinction Rebellion like exploded. So Extinction Rebellion about the climate, and I saw people sacrificing themselves, like getting arrested. It was like thousands of people coming together in London and blocking the 5 major bridges across the River Thames. And but it was like this really positive, like loving vibe. And I'd never seen anything like it because I'd been involved in animal rights activism for almost 10 years before that. And it was all very like covert, or yeah, people with masks, or we're doing outreach and things like this. And it didn't feel like that effective. But seeing all these people openly coming together and disrupting London and getting international press, it was just like so inspiring. And later that year, Animal Rebellion was formed, which is now my organization, Animal Rising. And yeah, Animal Rebellion towards the end of 2019 started doing actions like blocking slaughterhouses. And that was, I think, when I saw people openly blocking slaughterhouses and stopping animals from getting killed and getting arrested and like getting carried away by the police, but people shouting like, "We love you," and doing like heart symbols to them. And I was like, I think that was like a moment, like I still feel emotional when I speak about that, because that was like a moment I was just like, oh my God, there's like a different world as possible. And there were all these people. So that was like the thing. I was like, I think I can do this. And yeah, that's what led me to do more direct action and, but yeah, accountably as well.
What amazing journey! Like you're more than 10 years in this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great to see. I always ask about the special moment that changed us. And I also, when I talk with my other friends, they all mention the movie that you're mentioning. I didn't watch it because they told me that it's going to be heartbreaking. And
Horrible.
yeah, I don't want to. But this moment, it really makes us more humane, and then we can see the real truth.
Yeah.
So that I don't have a words for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such honored that you share your situation. So thank you for sharing that. I mean, like my word is powerful. That's powerful to hear. So let's talk more about we talk about you like so much more. We're gonna talk later. But many people like that you mentioned about MBR Acres, and I saw on the news that it's become such an important topic in the UK, and especially here in our cruelty-free science.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell more about MBR Acres and explain what is happening there? You mentioned it, but can you share it more about it?
Yeah, sure. So MBR Acres, so MBR stands for Marshall Bioresources. And yeah, I believe it's an American company, so they have facilities in the US as well as this one breeding facility in the UK. And so yes, this is the only beagle breeding facility for animal testing in the UK, and they breed around, we believe, 2,000 dogs a year. So this site, it's got multiple sheds. It has mother beagles that are being bred over and over again. So they're having babies over and over. All of their babies are taken away to be used for animal testing. But they spend, I think it's about, I can't remember how many weeks now actually, but at least 6 weeks in these concrete facilities. So the pens of MBR Acres, they're just, yeah, basically concrete. There's multiple dogs in each one, but they have like lack of enrichment. There's no evidence of them going outside. We also have evidence of them being bled out inside MBR, so they're draining the blood for like science from the beagles as well. But eventually, they're all shipped off to different animal testing facilities around the country. And like I said, today they're still going to the one in my hometown in North Yorkshire. And yeah, that's where mostly they're used for toxicology testing. So that could be household products. And yeah, it's just when we've got alternatives and well, I think even if we didn't have alternatives, to me, I don't believe it's ethical to test on beagles that cannot consent. And so yeah, this place is I mean, it's quite well known, at least in the local area, but nationally, I think a lot of people are still not aware that we're testing on dogs in this country. A lot of people think that we've stopped doing that, probably because of the testing ban in the EU for cosmetics, but yeah, it's still happening and it's mad. And beagles are obviously chosen because they're so docile, they're so trusting of humans, and yeah, it's just like so sad when you see the conditions. Like it smells so bad. It's just clearly not suitable for a dog. And so, yeah, this is why one of the reasons we need to be shutting this place down.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear it, it's just horrible conditions. And also, when we look at now in the science, it's not now we don't need animals to do the testing because we are in 21st century and we have so much more of alternatives and non-animal methods that we can use, and that traditional methods, it's not good. It's not good for the animals, and also it's not good for the humans. And especially in that condition, like when you're doing experiment, the stress is a big factor in everything. So you need to minimize the stress factor when you're doing the testing. So it's not showing the most perfect results. So also it's like scientifically questioning this experiments. So yeah, that's a much clearer picture. About condition, like what is most like cause public concern?
And I think, well, in general, obviously, it's the fact that they're dogs and they're in these like concrete pens. I think the shocking part is the actual like the bleeding out of some of the dogs. Also, the conditions that the mothers are in, like having to be impregnated over and over again as well. But yeah, I think like the things that are most shocking to the public are bleeding out, and then going off for toxicology tests. Although we don't always know exactly what they're doing to the puppies because that
Yeah,
information to get hold
I
of.
mean, what changed to the outcome? What changed the outcome do campaigners have to achieve that? It's a result of public attention. So wait, I need to do well. Like, what changes of or outcomes do you want? I mean, you want to shut down the place. Also, what is also the thing you really want to do about the acres?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, definitely shutting down MBR Acres is ideal, and it's of course that doesn't mean the end of all animal testing, but that's like the first. It's like a massive milestone. If we can shut down MBR, that will get so much media attention and just be a signal that the public don't want us to be testing on animals, that they don't agree with this. And so, yeah, as well as shutting it down, it's also highlighting other issues with animal testing as well. And I see it as just the first step in a phase out to all animal testing, which our government is kind of on their way to doing. They recently released a report on the strategies to phase out animal testing, although it's not entirely clear when that's going to happen, and it's not 100% wiping out animal testing either. But so I think that this is both the purpose of focusing on MBR acres is both to shut it down and save the beagles, but also for the public to gain public support to end all animal testing.
Yeah, I understand, and I agree with that. So, got it. Now, I really want to highlight the method of activism that you guys do, and it's not, and many people here in my area are still don't know about. I want to talk about open rescues. So, can you explain what is open rescue and why is transparency important, and also how it differs from the traditional rescue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so open rescue is basically a tactic. I believe it started in Australia, where animal rights activists started, instead of going into farms or animal testing labs with their faces covered and not really talking openly about doing the rescue. So yeah, I used to do that myself as well. I used to go on farms, rescue animals, and then take them to safety. And of course, that's great for, I think there's a lot of value, of course, in saving those individuals. But the tactic of open rescue is basically doing this completely accountably. So doing it with your face uncovered, actually filming the whole thing, posting it on social media, telling the press. And also, a lot of the time, not always, but sometimes we hand ourselves in or we report our actions to the police as well, which is what we did when we rescued beagles from MBR. So I think this to me is extremely effective and just really important in showing that we're doing something that is not wrong. Like I believe that I know that I'm doing something that is good, that is right. I'm saving lives. I'm taking them away from harm and taking them to safety. And I have nothing to hide, and I'm okay with, of course, it's a privilege to be able to say that I'm okay with the consequences because I'm potentially facing prison sentences for this. But to me, it is completely worth it for saving lives. And it just shows, it signals to the public that, yeah, we're not criminals because, of course, hiding your face and things like this, that could signal that, yeah, it's, or like the connotation of, yeah, having like wearing a balaclava, for example, is that you're trying to hide or you're doing something that you're not supposed to be. But yeah, I think it's so important to be doing as much of this work as possible. Like when we have the ability to do that, to do it openly, and that just draws so much more attention to the overall issue as well. So the rescue itself got lots of media attention and attention on social media. But also the trials, when we go to trial for these actions, that draws a lot of attention as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that you are like openly doing it, and you know what are you fighting. Now I want to move into something like more emotional and real that you mentioning the beagle rescues and everything that came after. So, and I know it's not easy. It's great that you are doing it, but I know it's not easy. So, you mentioned the trials, and I want to know about beagle rescue trials. Why were these rescues necessary? And I have more important question, like also to mention why were the rescues necessary, and also what shocked you the most when you first enter that facility and saw the conditions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like it was necessary because people have clearly been trying for so long through all sorts of methods to shut this place down. People have been camping outside for years. People have been leafleting, putting pressure on the government, all sorts of things, lobbying, and nothing is working. And it is so clearly wrong what is happening to these beagles. And so, yeah, I think at times we need to push the system. We need to do things that are a bit more I don't know, risky or what people may see as extreme. So yeah, I felt it was absolutely necessary. When I'm given the opportunity to save some lives, of course I'm going to take it. And I think many other people would do the same thing as well. And so I had the opportunity to do this. There was actually 2 rescues in 2022. So for some context, we did a rescue in June 2022 and 5 beagles were saved by 3 people. And then again in December 2022, there was 18 of us, and another 18 beagles were saved. So a total of one person did it twice. So there's 20 of us now going on trial from December this year and now we've been charged with burglary. But yeah, to answer your second question, so yeah, when I went in December 2022, and like, yeah, it was maybe to explain a little bit what it was like. So you asked me what was the most shocking thing, but I guess
Yeah.
just before that, it was December, so it was like freezing, and we had to walk over multiple fields. I think we fell in some cold water and stuff, and down some like ditch, and then had to cut a hole in a fence to get in. And then when we got in, another part of the team had already opened one of the doors. And so when I got in, yeah, I think that the first thing that hit me, I like vividly remember like the smell. I think like it's like time like almost stopped for a second because I had like been talking about this place for so long, and then now I'm like stood inside the shed, inside this like facility, and yeah, it was just like rows and rows of cages of hundreds of beagles in this one like long shed, and all of them were like yapping and barking and like excited, like they were really excited, but it also like smelled so bad. I remember like the smell hitting me and all these sounds, and it was really bright as well. The lights were really bright from what I remember. And then it was like, okay, now we've got to go. And we were like, people were passing the beagles over the cage, and then yeah, it was quite chaotic. The whole thing. But yeah, I think it was just like that initial when I first ran in and saw all like how many beagles were in there, and yeah, the smell of like feces and everything. That was like the most shocking thing to me.
Yeah, I can only imagine how intense it must be to see this condition and situation. And after everything you witnessed, um, what was the most then challenging part of facing multiple, trials for rescues and saving animal lives? So,
Yeah, I think the most challenging, obviously going to trial, it's still like nerve-wracking. I'm also looking forward to it. Like it's we wanted to go to trial. That was like part of the strategy. We want to go to trial. So there's like yeah, mostly I'm feeling like positive and excited, but there's also of course it's like a lot of pressure to go to trial and in front of a jury. So we have there's 5 different trials. We've been split into different groups, and I'm the 4th group. So mine's in February next year, and yeah, it's just like a lot of pressure to be able to be cross-examined by the prosecution and explain why we did this, and knowing that if we get found guilty, there's a possibility that we're going to go to prison. Of course, yeah, that's like a scary thought. But at the same time, I'm trying to think about it optimistically. And yeah, if I end up in prison, I'll make the most of my time there and use it for like reading and sleeping and doing yoga and things. But yeah, there's yeah, just like a huge amount of pressure, I think, for all of us to do a good job while we're on trial, and also not just for ourselves, but for all the other animals, because it sets a precedent for all beagles, but all like animals and animal testing too. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I understand. On that note, how was this experience, affect you? You talk about, but affect you personally, emotionally, and mentally. It's just a heavy team, heavy situation of the condition, and
Mm.
so how it affects you
Mm.
from
Oh, do you,
now, from the start and now.
oh, do you mean it's how the trial is affecting me, or?
Yeah, trials and then the whole situation about it.
Yeah, honestly, like because I think I'm completely immersed in this, and like I'm dedicating my life to all of this. So I'm lucky that I have a lot of support around me, and this is basically all I do is thinking about animals and yeah, campaigning for animals. And so yeah, I think yeah, I honestly I've been so busy on other campaigns that I'm like I haven't I'm becoming more prepared for the trial now, but yeah, I know that it will be stressful, and I think the main thing is if I did go to prison is being away from my husband and our dog and of course friends and family. Like that would be the hardest thing. It's still possible to contact people in prison. You can still use a like you have a phone in your cell and you can write letters, but of course it's not as easy as being in the real world. So yeah, I think that's definitely the hardest thing, and that would be, I think, I imagine if I'm in prison, then I would find that really, really hard. But yeah.
You mentioned the people and um, about public awareness. So, how important is public awareness in these trials, and how important is support, and how is that helping you continue your work for animal welfare?
Yeah, that's a really good question because yeah, the public support for this, like so far, I don't think anyone has said one negative thing about the action that we did. Whereas with other actions that we've done in the past about like animal farming, we get a lot of negative backlash. But for the beagles, like the support has been amazing. And we're also getting support from like notable figures as well, like celebrities. There's someone really well known or like a national treasure called Joanna Lumley. I don't know if she's famous in Croatia, but she's extremely famous, and she's supporting our trial and our campaign. She's doing the voiceover for an animation that is coming out about the rescue and MBR Acres and in a couple of weeks. And so yeah, like yeah, the support has been amazing, and I think that's just yeah, we're trying really hard to make the most of this trial and basically doing like a whole like PR campaign around this because yeah, we don't want to miss this opportunity to bring people in and then yeah, hopefully help them connect the dots with all animals that are being tested on and then also all the other animal issues that there are. So yeah, that's like the key thing. I'd be really sad if we don't do a good job with that.
Yeah, that's amazing that you educate the people and share awareness. So, about the all obstacles and telling more about it, what has inspired you to keep advocating now, despite the challenges now you have faced?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I do seem to have almost limitless energy for it. I feel like I'm getting quite tired towards the end of the year now, I think because it's getting dark and cold as well. But yeah, there's just like, I think since a young age, I've just like had that feeling like I really don't like seeing, especially animals, I don't like seeing anyone being hurt or any kind of injustice, but particularly for animals when they're like the most vulnerable and most innocent. So I think there's like, it's just like the animal, like thinking about the animals honestly is like the thing that keeps me going because I'm not doing this for myself because I could be just yeah having like a I don't know, a more relaxing or I don't know, less stressful job. But yeah, it's just like just I think I have this thing in me of just wanting to do the right thing as well. Um, yeah, it's just like yeah, that's always in my mind in any situation. I think is just like to do the right thing, and even when it's like really really hard. And there's been multiple times when I wanted to give up, definitely. Um, and yeah, I think I've got too many people around me now to. to
Yeah, and it's normal reaction to think, to have our doubts, but uh, with all the actions you're doing much bigger, bigger change for the more humane, safe, and modern science that is also saving animals' lives
yeah.
and saving human life,
Mhm.
saving child, the small child's life. So
Mhm.
it's more of the bigger scale now.
Yeah.
So I understand your point of view. So before we finish this talk, I like to leave the audience with something practical. And since of everything you said and what they can do and moving forward, how can the public, scientists, policymakers support your work
Mm.
and help end animal testing and animal injustice?
Mm. Yeah, really good question. I mean, I think well, directly linked to like the work that we're doing and the beagle trial. If there are any scientists that want to support this, or anyone that has any kind of role in the yeah in like scientific fields or anything that was linked to animal testing or anything like that, or alternatives, we've got an open letter that is being signed by like notable people, and that's going to be sent to the Home Office, so the government in the UK, asking for MBR to be shut down. So you can contact me directly through Instagram if you want to be part of that and sign the open letter. Also, then like yeah, for anyone, you can follow us on animal.rising, and yeah, we'll be doing like daily updates or regular updates on the trial, all the way from December through to March. There's a lot of trials, but there'll be a lot of updates and ways to get involved, like signing petitions to get MBR shut down, um, and donating as well. The trials do cost a lot of money to support the defendants, but yeah, I think of course not everyone. I think this is also acknowledging there's like different roles for everyone in the movement, and I think just working out what your skills are and I don't know, yeah, just trying to use your own skills and because I guess yeah, somehow I found myself. I think I'm good at organizing, and that's why I ended up where I am. And yeah, I think it's just like working out where your skills could be best used in the movement. But yeah, just follow us on animal.rising if you need some inspiration, and yeah, sign the petition.
Thank you so much, Rose, for being here today and also sharing your honesty, courage, and experience with us. I truly appreciate your work, and I'm a big fan of your work and the compassion you bring here in the world. So everyone that is watching now, I see some of the message, so I can read more about the message, and maybe you can share your opinion with. I'm gonna like read some. We got like a message, so I need to wait to see it. So I think it also first message, first question. So Rose, can you share your opinion on animal testing in EU countries and non-EU countries? So it's more about EU countries and the Balkan region. say countries that are not in EU, but they are in Europe.
It's my opinion on animal testing in those countries, like not in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely don't know too much about outside of the UK. So I don't, and I'm also definitely not an expert on animal testing, I would say. But yeah, I can say in the UK, well, I mean, I guess like my personal opinion is that even if there isn't an alternative, which there actually are a lot of alternatives, so it's easier to make this argument now anyway. But even if there weren't alternatives, I believe that it's immoral to be breeding and using other beings, other sentient beings, using their bodies for scientific experiments or cosmetics and things like that. Like I can't see that how we can justify that. If we wouldn't do it to another human being, I don't think we could do it to any other sentient being on this planet. So that's my personal opinion. But like I said, we've got a lot of alternatives and they're getting better. And a lot of them, even in the reports that the UK government released recently, they said that the alternatives are often just as good or better than being tested on animals. So I think we're like, yeah, the fact that the UK is planning on phasing out animal testing, it's pretty clear that yeah, those alternatives are good enough, and yeah, we should be able to easily phase out in all parts of the world, I hope. But, yeah.
Yes, I agree. You mentioned non-animal methods and alternatives. Yeah, they are better. For just keep in mind for an animal organ on chip, it's 70% better than the traditional methods. So it's much more enhanced and better for the science. So yeah, I can agree with you. Also, we have a comment. It's about, I'm wondering why there's a reason why rats, monkeys, dogs, they are not non-humans. Different immune system. What else do we need to learn that we need to test on animals? Okay, so this is more of biological question. I think it's because of how people see evolutionally animals and humans, but also we need to mention that we are also similar, but we are different. We are different biologically, and also every person, it's like 1% difference, it's so much. And I think testing needs to be done species by species, so humane to humane, not animal to humane. So that's my opinion on this theme. What do you think about this? Also, we have one question here. Okay, how do you guys finance all these projects and actions, and how it affects your personal life? So that's like two questions in one.
Yeah, so most of it's financed by, well, it's all donations, whether smaller donations through like crowdfunding. We also have some major donors. So yeah, everything is financed through donations basically. And how it affects my personal life, I mean, I think, well, personally, like my family are really supportive. Like my mum and dad went vegan like 7 years ago now, and yeah, they've been involved in like some of the campaigns and things. So I'm very, very lucky to have really supportive parents. I think that helps a lot, and a lot of my friends are also really supportive, and of course, a lot of my friend group are within the animal movement anyway. So yeah, like there are some from before, like before I was doing this, I guess yeah, I've probably like throughout our lives, I've like moved away from some of my friends that I had before, but honestly, my personal life has got so much better. I feel like I have much more purpose in my life, and I've met the most amazing people. That's how I met my husband as well, and yeah, it's transformed my life in like so many positive ways. Of course, I wish I had like more free time, but it's also like what I love doing as well. So yeah, mostly I would say mostly positive.
You're here 24/7 because this kind of way, this kind of job, it's like go all over you. So that's amazing, and what are you doing? It's really brave. So I don't see if we have one more question. So I will check it. We have. So if someone has a question, also they can ask now. I only see one comment, but it's the same for the comment about animal testing and setting them free. Yeah. So I think it's all with the questions. So I have one last question for you. When you're doing an interview, is there one question you always wonder or always want that someone asks you about?
That's a really good question. I
You
think
want to talk more, but you don't have a chance because they're all asking the similar questions. So that's a question for me to you.
your question about like the thing that motivated me in the first place is the thing that I enjoy telling, that story of like my childhood and learning about animal testing. Because yeah, I don't always get asked about like the journey. It's always about like focusing on the actual action and the trial. So yeah, I think I quite like talking about that, and just because I think everyone's journey is like it's always unique, and yeah, that was just like I don't know. I also feel like I've come full circle, like from seeing that as a child and then going there as an adult and rescuing the beagles. So yeah, I feel like you've already answered, maybe already asked that question. I can't think of anything else right now.
Yeah, thank you, Rose, and thank everyone for joining. And staying curious and supporting conversation to move to kinder and much more ethical choices. So if you haven't been yet, please check out and follow Animal Rising and learn more about Rose's work and the work of Animal Rising. And it's really a moment that changed how we treat animals and how we see science. And that's all for now of this episode. So everyone, I hope to see you in the next live. And Rose, I'm really thankful for your conversation, for making this effort and time to sharing more about your work and the trials here in the Slavic Balkan region, because it's so much different to see something what you're doing up here, because we don't have we don't have like we have laws, but we don't have many laws that is going going on prosecution. They're implementing, so that's really amazing to see different standpoint. So thank you so much, and we will chat later. And that's all. If no one has any more questions, I think we are done. So I don't think like any more questions. So I think that's a wrap. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see each other. So bye bye and have a great night. Take care.
For everything you're doing too. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.